Back in the 60s and 70s, smoking cigarettes was what was seen as the standard. But when people started to die, large companies like Marlboro saw a loss in money and revenue. That's when they realized they needed an alternative. Juuling, e-vaping devices were on the rise. They were seen as a more healthy alternative to smoking. Hi, I'm Colton Palmer. I'm here at a local high school to discover what's going on inside these walls with a teenage vaping epidemic.
Across the country are cracking down on the public use and sale of vape products.
I now join a high school mother who is scared to death about her son and vaping inside the high school walls. Hi, ma'am. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. The first thing I want to ask you is, what do you know about vaping, and what do you know about vaping inside of your son's school?
I know that it's a relatively new addiction. I know that there's been some research already done talking about the negative effects of vaping to lungs and health overall. And in terms of the school, I know there's kids who are vaping, and I know it's easily accessible.
You touched on the accessibility of vapes. How does it make you feel that it's so accessible for these underage kids to get their hands on these devices?
It's scary, to be quite honest. If kids can get their hands on things easily and they're not necessarily making the best choice, and they're making a choice that they don't realize can be dangerous both short and long term, then that concerns me.
With the Harlandale ISD Police Department.
Okay, what's going on here? You see a lot of vaping going down?
We catch a lot of kids from the middle schools to the high schools, and we've even had some at the elementaries.
No doubt the vaping is happening in schools every day. But here are some statistics to back it up. 1 in every 5 Canadian teenage students have been reported to vape in the past month. And 1 in every 7 Canadian students aged 15 to 19 has reported vaping every single day in 2022. Now, these are quite mind-boggling stats. Vaping was once seen as a way to get past smoking cigarettes in order to quit the addiction. Unfortunately, it has turned for the worse. Now, these teenagers are getting hands on these e-cigarette vaping devices that are filled with nicotine and other chemicals detrimental to their health and growth. These chemicals can lead to lung and throat cancer and other cancers, proved by hopkinsmedicine.org. Many people believe that this is a healthier alternative, but that is not the case. As talked about before, 1 in every 7 students aged 15 to 19 have vaped every day in the last month. We now decided to ask the principal for a couple seconds of his time to let us know what is going on. We're now joined here with the principal of the high school. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here.
No problem. Happy to be here, and thank you for bringing attention to this important matter.
Thank you. I now want to ask you, what do you know about vaping inside of the schools?
Well, we know it's a real serious problem, and it's one that's been growing over the years, and one that we continue to struggle to get under control, and one that we know is putting our young people and our students at great risk in terms of their health.
All right. So what are you doing inside of the schools to crack down on the vaping?
That's a good question, and it's not just one thing. It's a couple different things we're trying. First and foremost, education, because we know it can not just be happening in the schools; it's happening outside of the schools as well. So we're educating students through a number of different ways. We're also educating parents to let them know this is happening in great numbers, and are they having talks with their kids about the risks and about the harms of vaping. And secondly, it's about I don't like to call it enforcement, but it's how do we stop it from happening in our schools, because we know it's happening in bathrooms and quiet areas, in libraries, and so we're trying as best as possible with the resources we have, to try and crack down and try to find those places where it's happening and cut it out. We're also investing in technology. There's now sensors, and we're looking into those around putting in bathrooms that can sometimes alert staff to when things are happening in different spaces, but obviously that comes with a price tag. So looking at different options and how we can institute that into our schools to again tackle this problem. But again, it's a multi-pronged approach, and we certainly need the help of everyone, including parents and other officials and staff at the board.
I want to take a look inside the washrooms of what's really going on. Follow me. Here, you can see some students vaping in the washroom. As we can see from adventuring this high school, we can see that the issue comes down to more than just one thing. Some of the things we learned from being inside the school are 1. Lack of education, 2. Lack of rule enforcement, and 3. Honestly, lack of care from the students. In conclusion, what we hope you can take away from this documentary is that education is needed to stop the teenage vaping epidemic.